Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The business case that you're going to need and the absolute steps that you must have. So, we're starting a new micro masterclass today, and I want to make sure that you grab your notepads, do some jotting down. This is great information that I'm going to share with you because I am also going to give you a frameworks for how this works. So, if you're joining me today we are talking about AI ethics. And this is something that's going to be important no matter what stage of business that you're in. It's a free micro masterclass, and I'm also going to share my framework with you as well. So, where I want to start at is that there are a few things that are going to be really important that you take note of. And then we also need to make sure that we're looking at um, all of the different areas, right? So most founders and leaders think that ethics is a compliance problem, but it's not. It's really a business problem. So if you're in business, it's something that you need to be concerned about. And you need to also understand how you would implement it. So I'm going to share that with you today as well. So when you deploy AI without thinking through the implications, your tool makes a bad decision, right? Your customers, they don't trust you. Your team loses confidence and your brand takes a hit. So, or you're just too cautious, right? And you avoid AI entirely because you're worried about getting it wrong and your competition moves faster and you find that you may fall behind. So here's the truth about ethical AI and AI implementation. It really isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional about your steps. It's about being intentional about how you move forward. And so the framework looks different depending on where you are, but the core in terms of its relevancy and how important it is remains constant, right? So a startup can't run the same ethical AI governance as an enterprise. A small business has a different constraint than a scale up. So today I'm going to break down exactly how to implement an ethical AI framework for your stage in a way that's practical and not paralyzing by theory, because we can't live in theory, right? Theory won't help us. And I want to focus on what the real problem is. Most businesses fall into one of two traps. The first trap is that they move fast and then they think about ethics later, right? You deploy AI quickly, it works great, and then something goes wrong. A bias emerges, a customer complains, data gets mishandled, and you scramble to fix it. You start to waste time, you lose trust. The second trap is that there's perfectionism paralysis. You worry so much about getting ethics right, getting it just right, that you never move. You wait for the perfect framework, the perfect governance. Meanwhile, your competition is shipping and learning. I will tell you one thing about both trap one, moving fast and thinking about ethics later, and trap two, perfectionism and paralysis, is that both are very expensive. The answer is in the middle. Move intentionally, right? Build ethics into your process from day one. Iterate as you learn, but don't wait for perfection. You don't ignore red flags either. If you see them, stop and address it. And that's what an ethical AI framework actually is. So, an ethical AI framework is not a 50-page compliance document. It's not a box that you check once and then you forget it. It's a set of guardrails that help you to ask the right questions before, during, and after you deploy AI. So, here are three core questions that I want you to focus on. What could potentially go wrong? Not in theory, but actually, what's the worst case scenario if this AI makes a bad decision? Your second question, who is responsible if it does, right? Who owns the outcome? Who monitors? Who fixes things if they break? The third core question is, what will we do about it? Not, we'll be careful because that's not going to work. What's the actual process. How do we catch a problem? How do we course correct? So the framework changes based on your stage, but the question still stays the same. So, as small businesses and startups, I'm speaking to you folks. Your constraint, speed, and resources, right? That's important to you. So, you can't hire an ethics officer, and you probably can't build a compliance department. But what you absolutely can do is that you need to be intentional. So, here's what is going to work. You start with simple decision framework. Before you deploy an AI tool, ask these three questions. One, what data tool do we use, right? Is it customer data? Is it sensitive? Where does it go? Here's question two. What decision does this tool make? Is it critical to the business? Could a bad call harm a customer? Three, who checks it? Is this fully automated or does a human review look at it first before it affects the customer? And then write down the answers. That's your framework. And this is for small businesses and startups. So, no, you may not be able to hire a compliance officer. You can appoint a particular person and have a checklist and stick by it. You make sure that you have your compliance guideline that you don't move away from, especially as it has the core competencies that's going to be really relevant for you. And here's a real world example. You're a small SaaS company. You want to use AI automatically flag suspicious user accounts, right? Question one, the tool user account behavior data, not personal information, it's low risk data. Question two, it flags accounts for review and it doesn't ban them. A human always decides what is going to happen. So you need that human oversight. Question three, your support team reviews every flagged account before action, and that's it. You've built ethics into the process, you move fast, and you stay safe. And this is for my small businesses and startups, okay? So here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to wait for perfect governance. You don't want to hire an ethics consultant before you deployed anything. And you don't want to build a process that you can't actually follow. So this needs to be realistic. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to my scale ups. And here's where you are. You're constrained, you're growing fast, right? Teams are multiplying, AI is spreading across departments. You need consistency without bureaucracy. The risk here, though, is that different teams make different choices. One team is thoughtful about data privacy, another team treats it like it's nothing. They're thinking about moving fast, moving quick, right? Only speed and forgetting about compliance. So your company is inconsistent, and that creates problems for you scale ups. So here's what is going to work. Build a lightweight ethics review process, not a gate that kills innovation, a checkpoint that ensures alignment. And here's your framework. Here's your process. Step one, create an AI governance checklist, not long, just one page. Does this tool use customer data? Either yes or no. Quick yes or no answer. This is for my scale ups. And is the decision that it makes irreversible? Yes or no? Does it affect pricing, eligibility, or access? Yes or no? Do we have a way to monitor it after deployment? Yes or no? Here's our step two for scale ups. Anyone deploying AI checks the box. Green light questions, proceed. Red light questions, escalate to leadership review. Step three, monthly sync. Review what has been deployed and discuss what's working. Adjust it as needed. And this is going to be important for scale ups. So here's an example. Your marketing team wants to use AI automatically, personalize email subject lines based on the user behavior. I've seen this in action. It can go really, really well, really, really bad. Checklist here. Use customer behavior. Yes. Decision is reversible. Yes. Affects customer experience, but not access. No. And then monitor open rates. Yes. Green light, deploy it. So your HR team wants to use AI to screen resumes and auto reject candidates below a certain score. Here's your checklist. Use personal data. In this case, yes. Decision irreversible? Yes. Affects employment opportunity? Yes. Monitor outcomes? No, not yet. Red light. Let's take it back. Add a human review step first and then deploy it. So you actually have someone to look at these applications and see, okay, maybe we rejected this in error and we need to have someone actually have a personal assessment about it, right? So you're not saying no to AI, but you are being intentional about what questions matter at your stage, at your scale, at your process, and as it continues to scale. So you're not building the perfect governance, but you're building consistent governance. And then you'll learn along the way in terms of what you want to add and what you should take away. What you don't want to do is you don't want to create a review board that kills velocity. Don't require approval for like every single decision for my scale ups. Don't build a process that only your compliance team understands. And I want you to drop in the chat if you've already deployed an automatic HR process, which either provides approval rates or rejection rates for applicants. I'd love to know where you are in that particular process. All right, so now I'm moving on to my enterprises, right? Your constraint here is that you have legacy systems, complex regulations, multiple stakeholders, and real liability. So you can't move fast here. You need governance that actually works. So the risk here is AI is deployed inconsistently across teams. Some departments have guardrails, others don't. You have no visibility, so you are exposed here, enterprises. Here is what is going to work for you. You want to build a tiered governance framework that is tied to a risk level. And I'm going to break down these tier levels for you. So tier one is low risk AI. These are tools that make recommendations but don't affect critical decisions. So your team reviews them regularly but deploys them in a straightforward way. So here's a great example for you. AI that suggests which leads to prioritize. A salesperson may still decide who to call in the process, right? The team still self-certifies, and then you have a monthly audit. You're done. That's tier one. Here's tier two. It's medium risk for AI for enterprises. These tools affect customer outcomes or business decisions, but there's a human in the loop. So here's a good example. AI that flagships high churn customers. Your customer service team, it decides the intervention. The process, your framework here, enterprises, is department head, they approve legal reviews, data handling, and quarterly audit, ongoing monitoring. And then tier three for enterprises is high risk AI. These tools make or heavily influence critical decisions with significant impact. So here's an example for enterprises. AI used in lending decisions, hiring screening, or pricing strategies. Process C-level approval, legal review, a compliance review, bias testing, an audit trail that is going to be maintained, and then also real-time monitoring. So here's the framework for enterprises. You are not approving or rejecting AI, but you're using a category based on risk, and then you're matching a governance to that risk. And I'm going to provide a real example for you for enterprises. Your company is building an AI system to help to underwrite or to approve or deny loans, right? This tier three is high risk, clear impact on customers. The process, executive sponsors identified, legal review data sources. Does this inadvertently discriminate? That's the question. You test for bias. Does this system treat underrepresented groups differently? You build an audit trail. Can you explain every single decision? So you set up monitoring. Do approval rates change unexpectedly over time? Then you deploy, but you keep monitoring. You keep monitoring, you keep documenting, and you keep making changes to make sure that you're in compliance and that you are not inadvertently discriminating individuals from practice from this particular program. So here's what enterprise teams miss. Governance only works if people follow it. We have lots of rules out there, lots of guidelines, but if your team needs training, they need to understand why this matters. They need to be champions in each department and then evangelize this approach. So you can't just publish a policy and expect compliance. You can't just say don't do, and then you have strict rules about if you break these rules, this is what happens to you. What you don't want to do is you don't want to build a governance that is strict and nothing ships, right? That means that you're not making progress, you're not moving forward. Don't require legal approval for every single decision. Don't make the process so complicated that only your compliance team understands it. So it needs to be something that is easily understandable. And also, you want to provide the why behind the governance. It's important that they understand that as well. So here's the pattern across all different stages. And notice what is consistent, right? Small businesses ask simple questions and then document them. Scale ups add a lightweight review process. Enterprises and tiered governance and ongoing monitoring. So the core here is the same. What could go wrong? Who is responsible? And what will we do about it? So this framework, it scales, the philosophy doesn't. So here's why this matters beyond compliance. Customers trust you more when they know that you're thinking about ethics. Your team moves faster when they have clear guardrails instead of constantly second guessing themselves. They don't have to think, what should I do? And then rely on themselves as the guide. You've already created that guideline for them. So you avoid the 3 a.m. call when the AI system makes a bad decision and no one knows why. Your investors ask fewer questions when you have the thoughtful governance process. This isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. So if you're a small business or a startup, you want to download the simple 3-question framework that I'm sharing. Answer those questions for your top 3 AI use case this month. That's your starting point. And if you're a scale up, you want to build your 1-page governance checklist. Check it with the department leads first, okay? And start collecting data on what you're deploying. And if you are an enterprise, map your current AI tools to the 3 tiers and identify gaps in your governance. You want to start with tier 3 and get those right first. So ethical AI isn't in theory, it's practical, and it is what separates the businesses that move thoughtfully from the ones that move recklessly. So you can't do both. You can't move fast and think carefully. You want the specific frameworks or checklists or templates that I ran through in the video. Just put ethical AI in the comments and I'll send you everything that you need to know. Until next time, this is Simone with Apelli signing off, folks. Take care.